Now is Jaret Seiberg, a financial services and housing policy analyst at TD Cowen's Washington Research Group. Jaret, it's great to see you. We know that the whole country is fired up about this. So how do they fix it?
Yeah, I mean, this is a real problem. We just are not building enough single-family entry-level homes. And even the existing stockpile, they're being upgraded because, as Diana said, people with low-rate mortgages just aren't moving. They're making those houses bigger. And so we have a real supply crunch at the bottom end of the market. And without policy changes, I don't see how that's going to change.
What are the policy changes that would actually work? Because most of the ones we've heard floated from the campaigns, from the Harris idea of giving people $25,000. I mean, a lot of these would stimulate the demand side of things, which would make things worse, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I mean, that's been the biggest problem is everyone is focused on the buyer. And I get that, right? I mean, these are politicians, buyers are voters, and voters are who they, need to make happy. But the reality is this is a supply problem. And unless we get programs to encourage more construction on the books, it's just not going to happen at the low end. And that's why I think two programs in particular are going to get a lot of attention next year. One is the workforce housing tax credit. It's a way to essentially subsidize the financing costs for entry-level housing, bring down that fixed cost and make it more economical to build. And the second is the expansion of the low-income housing tax credit, which has been very successful at helping build entry-level rental housing.
The Senate just kind of outlined their priorities when they get the chance to come in. And it sounds like they're going to tackle the border, maybe push tax to later in the year. When, if ever, or if in the first year, should we expect any movement on this front?
Yeah, really the only path forward is part of that massive tax package that has to happen in 2025. That's the expiration of the individual tax cuts and some other provisions. If it doesn't happen as part of that tax package, then I think the Republicans are going to have to start worrying about the midterm elections because home price inflation versus wage growth, that gap is bigger than even during the financial crisis. And so it's a huge problem and it has to get addressed if the Republicans want to stay in power.
We've been speaking to some of the builder CEOs lately, Jaret, asking them what prescriptions they think would help. And a lot of them kind of point to the clearing of red tape at really the state and local level. Is there anything that Congress can do on that? And even if that were to come to pass, I'm not sure how quickly that would filter through to lower home prices.
Yeah, so, I mean, certainly the builders are right. State and local zoning is an enormous barrier to entry. But there's only so much the federal government can do about that. We could condition some federal funding on changes at the local level. It's just very time consuming. And I'm not sure the Republicans have that time. So it's why I think we're going to see these two tax credit programs get so much attention next year, because it's a concrete thing that, Republican leaders can push to address what I think is going to be a growing problem for voters.
So how much would the low-income housing tax credit is an idea that people might be familiar with. The creation of the workforce housing tax credit, how will that have an impact and how much will this cost?
Sure. So it really depends upon how big they want to make the program. But the basic idea is you provide tax credits that get sold to financial institutions. And that reduces the amount of debt that builders need to borrow in order to build entry-level homes. And because the financing costs are less, the construction costs are less, and therefore they can build lower-end homes, in a cost-effective manner. So it's all about trying to encourage development where we really don't see a lot of building today.
And you think we'd get a lot of bang for our buck with that program?
I think it's probably the best that we can hope for out of Congress, right? There is no appetite for the government to build houses. There's no appetite for, anything that is more kind of big government. And these tax credits, I think, are particularly attractive to Republicans because they rely on the private sector to do the work. It's very similar to the opportunity zones that got a huge boost when Trump was president in his first term.
I appreciate you bringing this to our attention. We'll be sure to ask other executives about it as we speak with them and see if it really does become implemented. Jaret Seiberg of TD Cowen, thanks for your time.